Hey guys, Mr. Marcus here, and as you can see, we're back with the Master League, as you can probably tell from the title of the video. But this isn't the Tottenham Master League. Well, it is. It's a continuation of the Tottenham Master League. Once the season finished, which you probably already have seen, I, being the Germany manager, went in to do the World Cup, considering it was 2018. So with that being said, this video and the next video will both be related to the World Cup 2018 stuff. So with that being said, playing with Germany, I had to really get used to playing with them because their team is absolutely, well, not terrible, but there's not a lot of pace in their team. So likes of, the team is ridiculously good. The likes of Ozil, Royce, Götze, Müller, Kroos, Schweinsteiger, Lam, Neuer, and whatnot. So it was really good to play with them, and it was just really interesting. But this video, it's quite a long video. If you don't really care, then don't bother watching it. But I did enjoy playing with them. I didn't really edit any of the other kits. I just wanted to play with Germany and just really couldn't be bored editing the likes of Wales. I think my teams are Wales, Ivory Coast, and Costa Rica. So I didn't edit any of their kits because I just really couldn't be bored. So let's get into the actual first match. The first match of the episode is against Wales, and Wales were ridiculously easy to face against. I just couldn't get past their defence. So in the 21st minute, I actually do get through, get a shot with Ozil. Really easy shot. Boaz Myhill makes a really easy save, and in the 35th minute, again, Thomas Muller gets an opportunity. He gets a shot away. Keeper again makes a relatively straightforward save. And for this particular series, I'm not going to bother showing the halftime stats. As you can see here, we're going all the way up to the 77th minute of the match, because there's no real need for it, because basically the games would just be too long for any reason. But in the last minutes of the match, B. Reid gets through on goal. I assume it's Billy Reid gets through on goal, and literally it's an amazing tackle, I think, from Jerome Boateng, just to stop us from conceding in the last minutes of the match. As we see here, Andre Schürrle, who coming on as a substitute, gets an opportunity to try and pass it into Thomas Muller, failed quite badly, and the first game of the episode ends 0-0. Now, it's not too bad considering that a 0-0 draw, but look at that. We had 7 shots, 4 on target, absolutely dominated the game, and stuff like that. But as you see from the other group matches, nothing else really happened. I mean, Ivory Coast did beat Costa Rica 2-0. So Ivory Coast were top of our table in group whatever it is. And we were going into the second match at the El Monumental Stadium, because there's no way that they would have had the balls to actually make the game, make it so it's set in a certain region. So the stadiums are all over the place. But in this game against Ivory Coast, I scored probably one of the best goals I've ever scored in a game of PES. Now, it's just a really nice goal with Roda, and you'll see it in about a minute and a bit. But as you see here, of course, playing in the World Cup, you have to rest some players every once in a while. So the likes of Roda, Royce, Goretzka, Schürrle, Gomez all sort of played, but they didn't really they played, of course, because they were on the bench. But all the other players, likes of Neuer and whatnot, all their fitness was halfway, and it was just ridiculous. But with that being said, started this match, Draxler even played as well on the left-hand side. And I sort of had to change a lot about to do with the settings, because my settings for Germany were really weird. It's like they were playing counter-attacking football when in reality they should be playing possession games, stuff like that. So I changed that for this particular match. And in the 13th minute of the match here, Gervinho picks up the ball, gives it to B. Anderson. Anderson actually gets a shot away, and he actually scores and gives Ivory Coast a 1-0 lead in the first 15 minutes of the match. Now, I was really pissed off because I was like, well, I wasn't really deserving it, but I mean, they were playing some alright football, they weren't really doing much. And in the 21st minute of the match, Wilfred Boney misses an opportunity there to score, and I was like, oh my god, going absolutely mental. So about 4 minutes later, Marco Reus pops up with the goal, gets an opportunity, he scores. It's really easy for Marco Reus because he's one of the better players in the actual Germany side. He's rated 84, 85, and it's really good to play with him. And in the 38th minute of the match here, down the right hand side, Andre Schürrle on the ball, does a little low cross, doesn't really come to anything, eventually passes the ball back to Goretzka. Goretzka takes an opportunity with his left foot, and he actually hits it off the post. And it's quite annoying for him to hit it off the post because I actually like Goretzka, but again, it was with his weaker foot, so it wasn't that bad. And in the 57th minute of the match, Goretzka on the ball, plays it into Marco Reus again. Reus takes one touch, runs past a couple of players. Again, Mario Gomez does a pretty decent job of actually doing some good attacking from the front, and allows Marco Reus to get his second goal of the game to make it 2-1 to us in the 51st minute of the match. In the 62nd minute of the match, Philip Lahm on the ball, crosses it in with his right foot. It gets headed out to Roda. Look at this for control, and look at that for a volley, and look at that for a goal. So what an absolutely fantastic goal to give us a 3-1 lead against Ivory Coast, make it a little bit of a 2-0 gap, a two-goal gap, which is quite nice. And in the last minutes of the match, Ginter, who'd come on for Philip Lahm in the last minutes, runs down the right hand side, passes it into Andre Schürrle, who's basically been the man of the match, to be honest, and Andre Schürrle pops him back to net to give us a 4-1 win against Ivory Coast in the second group game of the World Cup. So it's a really nice little game. We're unbeaten in the World Cup, so not too bad so far. and winning 4-1 against one of the relatively better sides in the actual World Cup is actually okay. So with that being said, Marco Reus actually got man of the match. Again, we're top of the table now in Group B. We have 4 points, Wales have 4 points, and Ivory Coast have 3. So going into the last match of the group stage against Costa Rica. Now Costa Rica are not a difficult side, but because they play 5 at the back, it makes it a little bit more difficult actually getting forward and trying to attack them. Now when I did the team management thing, I did it during the game, so it again reverted back to playing counter-attacking football, which isn't the best thing to do because counter-attacking doesn't work against when you're facing 5 at the back. So with that being said, I mean, the likes of Brian Ruiz, Joel Campbell, I mean, there was basically the only 2 main names from Costa Rica. I mean, Bolaños and Oviedo, you sort of know, but you don't know too many. So with that being said, I changed the Germany lineup. I changed a lot of the players, like Leno came in, Ginter, Badstuber, Ed Durm, Schweinsteiger, Cruz, Ozil, Royce, Müller, and Goetz were all back, but I did like have quite a weak back line. But I mean, I sort of fixed it in the end. I sort of played a really difficult side, and it really made it a lot harder than it probably should have been. But in the end, basically the game kicked off, and Costa Rica played some really good football going forward. They kept the ball like ridiculously well, and in the 24th minute of the match, they get the ball forward here to Jeddah. He just runs past Ginter like he's not there, gets his strike, doesn't even get a strike, he gives it into Bolaños. Bolaños passes it to Campbell. And Leno makes a really good save, but comes back out to Bolaños, and Bolaños pops into an empty net to give Costa Rica a 1-0 lead. Now, 1-0 lead against Costa Rica, a 1-0 defeat against Costa Rica would be quite terrible, because we need to win every match. But in the 43rd minute of the match here, Brian Ruiz makes a really good thing going forward, basically make a really good tackle, and then make a crazy tackle with Ginter and get a yellow card, and the referee gives a penalty. Now, penalty in the last minutes of the first half, which Joel Campbell easily dispatches into the top right hand corner, basically gave Costa Rica a 2-0 lead, and I thought, well, that's me out of the World Cup. But basically from kickoff, I gave the ball to Mario Götze. Götze just runs past about 4 or 5 players. The ball eventually falls to Thomas Müller. Müller just continues to run, gets a strike away eventually, and Thomas Müller pops it in the back of the net to give us not a consolation goal, but a goal we definitely needed just before half time to make it 2-1 to us, now 2-1 to them. And going into the second half, knowing that we just basically had to score another goal. So in the 60th minute of the match, Götze on the ball, gets pushed over by Alvarado, and Toni Kroos takes the actual free kick, and it's a pretty decent free kick. I aim it at the goalkeeper side, it hits off the crossbar, and then it comes out to Andreas Schürrle, who had brought in as a substitute, and Schürrle makes makes 2 pretty decent shots. Keeper makes 2 really good saves, and then it comes out to Toni Kroos again. Kroos again picks it up, runs past Duarte like he's not even there. He just continues to basically get his shot away and gets his strike away. It's a really nice strike from Mario Götze to make it 2-2 in the 65th minute of the match, roughly, and allows us to equalise and go into the last minutes of the match, knowing that we could just maybe win the actual game. So in the 73rd minute of the match here, Royce on the ball, waits for Götze to make a run. Götze eventually does make the said run, doesn't really go anywhere, but Götze eventually passes it in back into Marco Reus. Royce gets a strike away, keeper makes a good save, comes back out to Mario Götze, and Götze pops in the back of the net. Now Mario Götze is definitely one of the highest rated players I actually do have. I think he's rated like 90 in attacking midfield, but he's like playing right wing forward or some rubbish like that. So yeah, so going into the last minutes of the match, basically just secure it to make sure that we end up winning the match, which we do actually end up winning 3-2, and as you see here, they're all happy because we've qualified for the knockout stages of the World Cup. But we made it a lot more difficult than we probably should have, considering it was Costa Rica. So in this episode, we have 3 matches from the group stage, and we'll of course have the first knockout stage match, which I think is against Ghana, if I remember correctly. So as you see from the other teams, Uruguay beat Portugal, stuff like that. I'm not going to bother showing all of that, but as you see there, Germany and Ivory Coast were the 2 teams that actually qualify from Group B. So into the last match of this episode, and it is against, and I'm 100% sure, it is Ghana. So going up against Ghana at the Juventus Stadium for whatever reason, because the game decided to play us there. We face against Ghana, and Ghana, their side is not really that difficult. It's a relatively straightforward side for us to face against, and I didn't really have any issue. Götze there was actually one of the main characters the game actually focused on, because, well, he'd been basically getting us through basically every single match so far, him and Royce. So as you see from our team, we had the strongest team possible, except for Roda and Meyer came in. I pushed Ozil out to the left hand side. Götze actually played straight down the centre, and Schürrle played off to the right, because a lot of the players are really tired. It's a bit ridiculous that the players get tired so quickly in this particular game. I mean, yeah, they have like a 3 or 4 days of rest, but they should be like relatively quite fit, but for whatever reason, just like get really tired, and it's really quite annoying. So with that being said, the game kicked off eventually, And we, of course, as the supposed home team, kicked off. So we kicked off, we basically played some alright football in this particular match. Ghana didn't really pose a threat in any way, except for in the 14th minute where they actually get through on goal with Waremp. And Waremp gets a strike, well, now he gets a strike, it's a really good tackle, I think, from Badstuber. And Rhoda picks up the ball and just runs with it down the left hand side. Now he just continues to run with it down in the 16th minute of the match, continues just going, because for every reason the AI just don't bother to get anywhere close to him. Also picks up the ball, runs past a couple of players, continues to do a pretty decent job of it, eventually gets into the box, runs past 2 players, gets a strike away, and Ozo scores the first goal of the game to make it 1-0 to us in the first half. Now a pretty nice easy goal for us, and sort of what you expect from Germany. It's going into this, like, near the end of the, no, actually near the start of the second half. Charlotte picks up the ball, gives it into Tony Kroos. Kroos does a little nice of a shot feint, eventually runs past Kevin Prince Boateng like he's not even there, and eventually gets a strike just from the inside from the box, and that was it. So 2-0 to us, basically securing a nice easy win against Ghana. Ghana didn't really pose a threat like I was saying before. Draxler, who comes as a substitute, does a little bit nice little skill there, doesn't really get anywhere. Eventually Mario Gomez does get a strike away, doesn't really come to anything. Keeper makes a pretty decent save, and that was that. The final score of the game was 2-0 to us against Ghana, and in the next match you will see how the end of the World Cup will happen, and of course who ends up winning the World Cup. So with that being said, Jerome Boateng got man of the match with 7.5 rating. Uruguay got beat out by Ivory Coast. Argentina got through Mexico, Spain, Italy, England and Brazil. And in the next round, in the quarterfinals of the World Cup, we will be facing off against Italy. So if you have enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel for more, and catch you later.